It's beginning to look a lot like space weather. These images don't load. Take a look at the solar disk and you will not see the eruptions that occurred. And the software sucks. Attempting to look at the solar disk in 171 angstroms. Please, SDO, we implore you, fix your server. You see an explosion coming out of this active region here. There's a plasma filament expulsion also. Hopefully we'll be able to show you. Here's your magnetic lines. You can see some fields emanating out of this area, which sure looks like a coronal hole to us. Some fields coming out of the active region. But I'd say the most important thing is this very dense set of fields here. And those are going to be rotating toward the Earth pretty soon. We'll keep an eye on that and the magnetometer. All right, the 304 angstroms view loaded. You're going to see a plasma filament in this area. You see that happen? Not sure where that one went, but it's pretty minor. Pretty serious dance going on up here. And down there. A lot going on the east limb of the sun. Now let's talk about Facebook and how much it sucks. Facebook banned us from posting to groups again yesterday. So we decided to make a video about how sucky Facebook is on Facebook. At that time, their share price was only down $6.66 per share. Now it's down $10.42 a share. I guess you shouldn't have banned us, Facebook. I was telling everybody to sell your crappy-ass common shares yesterday. Oh, look at that. Is that a new 52-week low coming today? Hopefully. Up yours, Facebook. So if you have this horribly, barely functional software on your PC or your phone or whatever, feel free to go to our groups. If you'd like to see what groups we're in, here they are. End of Empire, End of Age, Entropy Busters, Climate Change is a Hoax, etc. There's the whole list. If you'd like to actually have our videos where they've been, just post them in all these groups for us, and we'd be much obliged. By the way, this group here, Entropy Busters, that's our group, and we can't post to that either or join groups, thanks to Facebook's second ban with no explanation, no warning, and no response to either of the appeals. Up yours, Facebook. Congratulations on your share price. Congratulations on losing billions of dollars, Mark Zuckerberg. It couldn't have happened to a shittier company. Now, yesterday the Federal Reserve raised the prime lending rate again. The markets didn't like it. Those who were holding a lot of dollars did like it, because that's a hedge on inflation. By the way, if you think you're living in a capitalist planet, you are absolutely wrong. Practically every country in the world has a central bank, like the Federal Reserve. The largest block of business in the world is the interest on international and business-to-business loans, and those rates are artificially controlled by central banks practically the world over. So if you think that's capitalism, you got another thing coming. I highly recommend reading G. Edward Griffin's The Creature of Jekyll Island. I used to be a day trader, and I didn't understand economics until I read that book. You can see oil's down at an incredibly low level, an indication that we're on the way to stagflation. And if the market collapses, the U.S. is probably going to try to elect a socialist. Dollar's down, surprisingly, which makes no sense on the Fed raising rates. So, I don't know, I guess the U.S. dollar is a good buy now. I don't really care. Although, here's something to note here. Wheat is finally up. And I'll just say one thing about that. Can you say Global crop losses? Now let's shift gears here. Give you a little tour of our YouTube channel, smashamash.com/YouTube. We've changed our officially endorsed channels by adding some. We now feature Sky Scholar, Suspicious Observers, Adapt 2030, Ice Age Farmer, Oppenheimer Ranch Project, David Lapointe, Tony Heller, Thunderbolts Project, and The Starman. Check out those pages if you haven't yet. Some interesting content there. Moving on. Looking at the last 8 hours of earthquakes, we have an incredibly deep earthquake in Vanuatu. Look at that, 652 kilometers. One of the deepest we've seen. Only a 5.1, and they literally have to stay on alert for a 6+. Peru a 4.3, 4.8 in Tonga at depth. Tonga stays on alert for a 5. Chile a 4.1, Japan a 4.6, another 4.5 in Vanuatu. So activity seems to have gone up there. A 4.3 in Alaska, 4.4 in Turkey, 4.9 in Papua New Guinea. And just in the past few minutes while we were prepping the video, Nicaragua and Bolivia both got a 4.5 and a 5. That's some activity that we didn't even see when we were prepping. There's the Tonga quake. Let's take a quick look at that ultra deep quake just to see where it's located. 652 kilometers, man. And there you have it. It's kind of between the Solomon Islands and Fiji. No surprise there. We've been having deep quakes there for months. Next, we'd like to feature a new site that we've just discovered last night while we were looking for other data. The Chinese Academy of Sciences. We'll leave a link to this and everything else we're talking about. And we haven't had a chance to mess with this too much. But they've got a bunch of data. They've got forecasts. They've got instant data sets that can be requested. So we're going to be looking at that later. For those of you who view this channel, feel free to go check it out. Let us know what's good, what's bad, if it works, etc. We apologize if this video is a little bit disorganized here because we've been having software issues thanks to companies like Google. So you're going to see a big X-ray flare come out of here. It's not actually a big X-ray flare, but it's a interesting looking X-ray flare. There you go. Kapow! I'll let that play through one more time. That was from yesterday. And here comes the one that just occurred. A little bit of activity in this region too. Pretty cool stuff. Head to spaceweathernews.com. There you can see the data associated with those X-ray flares. Very small, barely into the B-class range. No phi angle signal really. BTBZ is bouncing around. Looks like it's converging, but we should keep an eye on that one as the magnetic fields are changing. Solar wind density is way down. Looks like it's about 2 protons per cubic centimeter. And it's actually been below 1 a little bit. Solar wind speed is still up. We're looking at around 600 kilometers per second for that. Magnetometer is very spiky, something to keep an eye on. And these low spiky areas tend to be associated with earthquakes, possibly. KP index is up to 3 because of that increased solar wind speed. Now, let's talk about this. This animation here, you see the current sheet is way up here. Now, keep in mind, the Earth crosses this current sheet back and forth. Why are we talking about this? Because we've been looking at a persistent issue with the magnetosphere. Now, back on November 11th, when there was this weird earthquake and this radio reverberation that went around the whole world, where people said it rang like a bell. I guess if your bell sends out radio frequency, that's okay. But before the heliospheric current sheet was way up here, there was a huge I guess you'd call it a magnetic plasma reverberation. The current sheet was like this. Venus's magnetotail was right down here. And we had a plasma reverberation in this area where this part of the current sheath, right around this area, split into two, and then a signal bounced out and came back to plasma. And we're trying to see that if that ties together, which it probably does, with the shift in the magnetosphere. Also, I have somebody trying to get the data from December 3rd or 4th or 5th. Not exactly sure what date that was, but we're going to see if we can tie that together. So, normally the magnetotail is like this. You can see it's got this crazy angle to it. Normally the bow shock is like this, not at this bizarre angle. And this is quite interesting. And the theory is that this is caused by the heliospheric current sheet. So we're trying to tie it together. We downloaded a giant data file this morning. I don't have time to process it into this video right now, but that's what we're watching, and this has been persistent for a long time. And there's a whole bunch of people that are feverishly trying to figure it out. Let's take a quick look at the Cosmic Ray Observatory in Mexico. We've got an upward trend here for the past 3 days. Keep an eye on that one. Great. And here's the Athens neutron monitor. Looking pretty similar to Mexico. We'll see if that rises up. Again, the highest point we've had was around December 3rd or so. That said, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, subscribers. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to videos if you like the content. We'll be doing it all again tomorrow if we don't go insane because the software doesn't work right. Remember, when you're trying to figure out geospace, don't drink. And if you drink, don't drive. Literally, just don't drive. Don't drive if you drink or not. Just do that. Put it in a parking lot. We'll appreciate it.